Welcome to Kimberlyn Coaching. We're here with another few minutes of some words of perhaps wisdom, definitely some experience and some things I've learned along the way. Have any of you had something happen to you that you thought was going to be really, really terrible and it turned out to be good? I had this happen to me one time. I was working for some lawyers, and as things went around, they changed up and they ended up putting me with these other set of lawyers that were leaving. And I really did not want to go with them. I was so upset and I cried and I wanted to quit, only that wouldn't serve my purpose because I didn't want to leave the ones I liked. And so I ended up having to go with these other attorneys that I did not want to go with, but I did. And it turned out to be the most wonderful experience. They actually let me help them set up their whole office. I got to help them pick out their phone systems, their computer systems. I mean, everything. And it ended up being this wonderful thing for my resume. And it just turned out to be a great experience. And not only that, but I ended up moving within a month or two of starting to work for them. And these attorneys, it was a husband and wife team, they and their son came out and helped me move. Now, how amazing is that? It was something that I was so upset. I knew absolutely that this was a terrible thing, and it turned out to be good. How many of you have heard of the Serenity Prayer? So the Serenity Prayer says, God, grant me the serenity to accept the things I cannot change, the courage to change the things I can, and the wisdom to know the difference. Now, before I knew about this prayer, I used to obsess about everything. I wanted things to go my way. If it did not go my way, I felt like if I obsessed long enough and hard enough, I could figure out a way to make it go my way. As crazy as that sounds now, I really felt that way. And I really felt like I could figure out a way to change this and make this go my way. And so when it didn't happen, it would just destroy me and I would just be so upset. And then I learned about the Serenity Prayer. And so I started applying that to my life. And so here's how it works, or at least for me in a practical way. First of all, a situation comes up. I look at it and I decide, is there anything I can do to change this? Is there anything I can change about this? So let's say I'm out of shape. I want to lose some weight. Do I have some control over that? Yes, I do. I can exercise. I can change my eating habits. I can do some things to change this. Now, let's say I don't like the fact that I'm getting old and I'm getting wrinkles and I'm getting gray hair. Now, is there anything I can do about that? Now, I can dye my hair. I can maybe get a little Botox, whatever, but I really can't stop that aging process or any other circumstance that comes in our life. You know, we've got people in our lives that are doing things we don't like for them to be doing. Maybe what they're doing is harming us, or we're worried about them and what they're doing. Do we have any control over that? No. Now, I have some control over whether that person is actively in my life, perhaps. If they're living in your home, it's harder, but you could have to do some tough love. I mean, there can be some things that you're in control of and some things that you're not. So the first thing to determine is there truly, realistically, something I can do about this? If there is, let's do it. Now, that's not always easy. Sometimes it's changing habits, and changing habits are hard. Sometimes it's being maybe if what feels hard toward another person when you're setting boundaries to not let them to be around you or to not let them hurt your life in whatever way that happens. But so that's why we have to have the courage to change the things we can, because it's not always easy. But we determine which things are truly, realistically something we can change, and we work on that. And maybe it's not an instant fix, but we work toward that. So the second thing is, okay, let's say I've determined this is something I have no control over. Well, then the only answer is to accept it. Now, I had a hard time accepting things because I felt like if I accept this, then it means I'm okay with this. And that is not what accepting means. Acceptance means I accept that this is the way this is right now. It may not always be that way. It may or it may not. It depends upon life and life circumstances, and many times we just don't know what will happen. But for right now, this instant, the situation is the way it is. And when I talk about accepting that, I say to myself, I've looked at this, I can't do anything about this, so my only answer is to accept this. And so then I work on accepting. That's the serenity prayer. Give me the courage, the serenity to accept the things I cannot change. But for me, that kind of comes at the end. The courage to change the things I can. For me, I determined that at first. And the wisdom to know the difference. I did not used to know the difference. I used to think I could change things that I could not change. And perhaps think I could not change things that I could. So if you have situations in your life, this is a very good practical way to approach them. Decide if you can fix it or do anything to change it. If you can, do it. If you cannot, work on acceptance. And that's it. I hope this has been helpful, and I hope you have a great week. Bye-bye.